Hello.
Oh, we are live. Yes. Hi, everyone. Let us know if you can see and hear us okay. If you're listening, let us know if you can hear us. And if you're not viewing, let us know if you can see us. Is that you or me? Because I thought I turned my notifications off.
Probably me.
I think so. You're a bit tinny today, Matt. Have you got your mic on?
My
Got your
microphone's
posh
on.
mic on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi,
Oh no,
Cindy.
second. How's
Yeah,
that?
just sound like you're in a tin can a little bit. I was just saying, if I'm a little bit groggy today, it's because I've got really bad toothache. Not that anyone cares. You're here
There we
to
go.
hear about
Right.
Amazon.
How does that sound? Does that sound better?
Much better. You've left the
Yeah.
can. Yeah, you've left the tin can. I was going to say, it
Yeah,
just sounded like
I just
you were in a
hadn't
biscuit
actually.
tin.
The microphone was there. I just hadn't actually enabled it. Oops.
Okay, cool. So we got people jumping on. Just let us know if you, like I said, if you can see and hear us okay. Cindy's in the house, as is Paulina. We've got a few other people that have joined us as well. Hello, everyone. This is, I think it's our penultimate one before the end of the year. Yeah, we took the tin can off. Well done. Well done.
Oops. My bad.
It is what it is. Don't you worry about it. But yeah, I thought, do you know what? I'm pretty sure you had a posh mic and it sounded like that posh mic had been turned off. For once, I was right. There we go.
Yeah, you were.
Right.
I mean,
I'm
there's
just
no
gonna.
point paying for a posh mic and then not actually using it, is there?
Well, that's exactly the sort of thing I would do.
On
That's
a podcast
exactly.
of all things as well.
Yeah, exactly. That is the sort of thing. Right. I've got all the comments up. I can see and hear everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Sean's joined us. Hi, Sean. Welcome. Victoria as well. James. Lots of people jumping on. I'm trying to look at all the different comments and everything. So, afternoon. Hope everyone's well. Do you know what? Just before we dive in, because there's a couple of specific things I want to talk about today, specifically things that have happened in the US market. But it's like with anything now, there's so many people that cross sell on different global markets anyway. Obviously, we sell UK and US. Matt, you don't sell in the US, but you sell in Europe and UK. Johnny, the same. Most people, a couple of people I know already on here are selling in the US anyway. So we used to kind of stay away from those US topics, unless we were absolutely certain that they were going to transition over here to the UK market. But so many people sell in multiple markets now. I think it's worth discussing, especially when there's something quite big happens. We don't know yet whether or not it will transfer to the UK market, but definitely there are points that I would be incredibly surprised they didn't transfer, to be perfectly honest. So I think it's worth a conversation, especially when everyone's getting into Christmas mode and people are starting to wind down a little bit because those kids break up at the end of this week. So this is when we start seeing most people hanging up their Amazon kind of boots and really taking their time off. So I want to talk about that a little bit as well, because one of the things I always talk about this time of year is really maximizing this time off now. You guys have worked so hard for the year, and we don't get a lot of downtime when you run these type of businesses. Like I said, my face is the size of a basketball with this blooming tooth thing that I've got going on, but I still got to do the work. I still got to do my work nonetheless. So when it comes to this period of time, when you run your own business and providing this is what you do and you haven't got a day job as well, then I really encourage everyone to just maximize it as much as possible. Switch yourself off, spend time with your friends and family, have a few Christmas tipples, and just enjoy the season, really, because like I said, there's not many times throughout the year where the whole world pretty much takes the time off, for everyone to have a bit of downtime, right?
That's just so true. This is totally my downtime. It's my only real downtime, I would say. I know people, you go on a holiday and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's other people are still working, and I think there's a bit of FOMO there. You're missing out on deals, or stuff, or things are happening in your business that you need to be aware of, or issues. I think Christmas is the rare time of year where literally the whole world stops, and therefore you can take a genuine break without any worry of, oh, I'm missing out on all these different bits and pieces. I'm missing out on all these deals, or my staff are all working I mean, I don't know what people's plans are, because I know it's one of them questions. People say to me, "What do I still ship in at Christmas, or do I stop?" And the answer is, do whatever you want. Do whatever works for you. You know, genuinely, there's no harm in shipping in. Equally, some people work really hard over Christmas. In terms of, for particularly those who do retail arbitrage, that period between
Yeah,
Christmas and New Year,
Sean's going
January,
there. Yeah.
it's the busiest for sourcing there is. So yeah, there's kind of that element to it. This year, particularly, I think I will be taking a big break. I normally go very hard on retail arbitrage, but I've been I found myself pretty burnt out. And I'm not burnt out, but this is one of them things, is being aware of when you're getting burnt out and putting the stops on before you get burnt out. I've been doing a lot of things, certainly with this group, and obviously the podcast and my own business is absolutely flying. So it's been very tiring year, I would say. So I'm really looking forward to just a stop.
Oh, absolutely. I must admit, a suspension or with, account being withheld, we are going to maximize our time off, particularly for me, obviously. And I know, like many of you out there as well, that have got kids. So I tend to align my time off when the kids are off. My kids aren't going to be babies forever. Well, I mean, they're not babies now. They'd hate it if I call them babies now. But, I still, whilst they live under my roof and I pay for them, I still call them babies. So, they're not going to be babies forever. So I need to maximize that time with them as much as possible. And like I said, oh my goodness, this year has had its ups and downs. It has been a roller coaster in terms of Amazon. Personally, from, like I said, suspensions, X amount of money lost this year because of that, and obviously what we've been through recently as well. But not only that as well, I mean, I think there's been a general kind of roller coaster ride for everybody, whether you've been impacted by deactivations, if you've had your account put on hold, if you've had all of these different, things taken place. This has been one of the most kind of turbulent years from Amazon. But without Amazon actually really making massive changes, it's just been, the market just seems to have shifted a bit.
Yeah, definitely would agree with that. It's been a bit of a bumpy year, I think.
A bumpy year, that's
I don't know if, again, a lot of this is, I could keep referencing COVID, but it's such a major event. Was a lot of this change coming? Because Amazon plans very far ahead. Like, I reckon Amazon's discussing, if Amazon execs having a meeting today, they're probably discussing what's happening in 2027. That's how far ahead they plan. Was a lot of this changes coming anyway, and they kind of just put the brakes on for COVID. 2023 is probably the first proper year where everything's completely normal, and they've just gone, yeah, let's implement all these changes, and it's all been quite a lot. It's just a lot of little things, I think, this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the reason why I wanted to discuss these fee changes that are coming, that are coming into effect, and some of the big changes that are already coming into the UK. So we're going to have a news round kind of roundup of all those things. Whilst Amazon isn't the most transparent and isn't very good at signposting us what's going to be coming in terms of how responsive the platform's going to be to sellers, it's these kind of fee announcements that give us our biggest, or policy announcements that give us our biggest indication of the direction in which we think the platform is going to be going over the next couple of years. And what they've just released in the US, in my opinion, is one of the biggest indicators for what Amazon want over the next couple of years, because it's a big change for me. Spoiler alert, it's definitely them. We already kind of knew this anyway, that they're not opening any more fulfillment centers. We've talked about it's not storage by Amazon. It's very much a case of Amazon have spent X amount of time ensuring that sellers are not using their fulfillment center as storage centers. They want quick sell-through rate. And for the first time ever in these new fee announcements, they have basically said, do not even bother sending us more than 30 days worth of stock. Don't bother.
Yeah.
Because we're going to penalize you for it, essentially. So we are out of the realms of fulfilled by Amazon, which, is still the best solution. Nothing's going to beat it on price still, even with these fee changes as well. And I don't want to do a Debbie Downer. I don't, because I kind of got caught up a little bit in it when I first saw it, and the inevitable, oh, Amazon's dead, all these kind of comments kind of come along. So I want to take a slightly different approach to it and say that you're still not going to get a better service at a better price if you are in e-commerce. It's as simple as that. So unless you are somebody who can compete in terms of costs with Amazon, yeah, things are going up. But I just made a video today about costs and things like that as well, and everything's going up. We can't expect them not to put their prices up. And I think sometimes they get a really bad rap for that. But in reality, shipping's going up. It's still continuing to. Everything that relates to this infrastructure is still continuing to go up. So what do we expect Amazon to do? To continue to absorb the price? No.
Yeah.
No.
Chris, but we should put this into Chris. It just said actually, just yeah, because then we sometimes assume everyone knows what we're talking about, don't we?
Yeah. So yeah, it's to do with the new fees that are coming in place in America. So not here. Yes, it's the new low stock, high stock kind of fee. But I'll run through it, and just to reiterate, like I said, these charges are not guaranteed to come over here. So if you're an Amazon US seller, either if you're UK resident and selling in the US, or European resident selling in the US, these are going to affect you. If you are not selling in the UK, the US, they will not affect you at the moment. But for me, I like to run through it because I do think there are some kind of telltale signs for what is to come and Amazon's mindset on what they want. I think we likened it, myself and Johnny, last week. It's through after a period of growth. It might be you, Matt, actually. Sorry, I can't remember who we were talking about this with. Any company, regardless of size, after a period of growth, will always go back and look at costs, analyze them, and they will try and streamline as much as possible. And that's what the period that we're in at the moment. That's the season we're in from Amazon at the moment. They've gone through an exponential period of growth, just absorbing costs along the line. Now their growth has staggered. So now they're looking at their bottom line. That's what this is about, essentially. And big, fat, expensive costs like fulfillment centers and staff and all of these different types of things, they're going to be cutting. They're going to be cutting, baby. That's what I foresee over the next year or so.
Yeah, totally agree. I think we were discussing this. Yeah, Amazon's definitely in a profitability stage now, and it makes sense for them. They've been going 20 years of consistent growth. Interest rates are creeping back up again. It's expensive to take on debt to invest and all this, and I think they're very much trying to go right. We've had 20 years of growth, so now it's time to to make a profit to please the shareholders. Yeah, absolutely. The whole mantra on delivery charges and things like that. Interestingly enough, so I've got a really interesting fact for you. I was reading some articles. When it comes to home delivery, so specifically what Amazon do, 90% of the cost of home delivery is in what's called last mile delivery. So the last mile to the customer, i.e., getting it on the van from the warehouse to the customer. It's not the moving it around the warehouse, not moving it around the country or whatever in big lorries. It's the last mile delivery. And I think Amazon is making a play. I've certainly noticed there's a lot more Amazon lockers popping up, a lot more places you can have things delivered to. That is all in aid of reducing the last mile cost, because the last mile costs have increased significantly. Again, the biggest thing is wages have gone up quite a lot in recent months. That's put the last mile costs up. Vehicle prices, I know this is not something that's often considered. You think about the price of vans in recent years, skyrocketed. Think how many vans Amazon runs. It's going to be a huge amount of vehicles for a small number of orders. Again, another cost that's gone up massively. Fuels are high. I know lorries use a lot of fuel, but what you don't think is that the actual per unit cost is very low when you put them on a 40-foot trailer. But when it's in the back of a van and it's got to drive 3 miles up a lane to somebody's house who lives in the sticks, that's very expensive. So Amazon is definitely looking at ways it can reduce its logistics costs in order to make more profitability. And I think we will talk about this a bit more, but I think one of the things we're going to start seeing, for those who've been around for a while, used to, when you created shipments, Amazon used to tell you where to send the goods to, and it used to be, say, it would often split shipments. It was an absolute nightmare. And then Amazon got seller feedback who said, yeah, we don't like this. It's a nightmare for our business. So then they started creating a hub and spoke method, i.e. you ship it to one place and then they distribute it around the country. That's why you have your FC transfers.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go back to a direct to fulfillment center offering that they used to do when they first started FBA.
Correctamundo. They absolutely are. And that's what's being offered in the US. And these are the things that I think we're going to start seeing transition over here. So it's funny, Sean said there about Amazon talking drones too. Absolutely. This was the big thing before the pandemic. It was all like they were using the doorbell technology to be able to, that's why they bought Ring. Essentially, does anyone remember that? I feel like I'm going back to the future 3 years ago. That we were having these conversations 3 years ago before the pandemic about the reason why Amazon bought Ring. They wanted that doorbell technology to be able to, track these drone deliveries and things like that. So that was a big thing that all got put on hold. I suspect very much that will be coming back. I agree with Matt. We're definitely going to start seeing more of those kind of lockers, but it's just little things like the whole infrastructure of delivery. So I'm doing loads of Vinted at the moment. It's my new favorite selling platform. Forget Amazon. Vinted is my new favorite selling platform. I just love selling everything on Vinted at the moment. It's so super easy. It's ridiculous. It won't always be that way forever. They'll start becoming awkward at some point. I've got no doubts about it. But what I will say is, even since I started selling on Vinted, now some of the options used to print labels at home. Now they want you to go in store and print a label. So maybe someone doesn't have to come and collect it and all these different types of things. So it's all this streamlining that we're seeing. And again, if you've only been selling on Amazon in the last 3 years during the pandemic, I appreciate it very much looks like Amazon's just, raising prices. They're just doing this. They're just doing that. What you probably don't realize is before the pandemic, they reduced a load of the prices, inbound UPS costs. I still don't think we're paying as much as we were 5 years ago for UPS.
No, we're not.
Inbound, costs.
Single shipment cost and about. I remember. I think we had a podcast a few months ago. We looked this up. It was 564 was the standard size. 15K boxes were 564 in 2016, and then 380 something now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's things like that, and it's a bit like what they always say, don't they? On a like if the government's got any bad news to give out, that they try and release it on like a big event kind of day. And this is sort of what's happened with Amazon, but in reverse. Believe it or not, when we talk about these fees, there are actually fee reductions as well, but everybody looks at the big fee increases because that's blinkers. That's all we see, essentially. So that's why I want to go through it, which we'll jump on in a moment, but just have a look at some of these questions. So welcome everyone that's joined us as well. Sean said, at least there's no strikes this year. How much did that muck up everyone's Q4 last year as well? So, when I always think I always think Q4, with one hand it delivers, the other it can take away. And that happens every year in different aspect. Last year it was the strikes, year before it was something else, blah. For us this year, for many sellers this year, Q4's taken away massively by these account reviews and deactivations and things like that. So you just got to expect the unexpected. It's as simple as that when it comes from Amazon. Completely agree with what Sean is saying here. This for me is the biggest opportunity next year. If you are not part of the hive and do not know how to create new listings as per what Amazon wants, then you're going to get left behind. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to go into a big sales spiel about it. I actually don't feel I need to, because our results speak for themselves. I'm just waiting for permission from the person to share the screenshot who said, I never share anyone's, things that are shared with me without asking permission. I just had someone message this morning just saying what, fantastic period of sales that they're having, £10,000 days, £5,000 days, member of the Hive, implementing all of those, all of those things that we teach in the Hive, massive success, 6-figure Decembers, all of these different type of things, because they are selling outside the box, and they're not doing what everyone else is doing. And this is someone who was massively selling inside the box, pure arbitrage, selling in the UK, and saw it wasn't working in the way that it used to. So pivoted, made some changes, massive Q4, started the year in the loss, is going to end the year massively in profit because they took that chance. So if you are not joining the Hive, and I hate to be that person as well, because it feels like we're being opportunist, but the Hive is been going for a year now. It's got lots of incredibly invaluable content in it. So, spoiler alert, there's going to be a joining fee that's going to be added to the Hive next year for new joiners. So we've and ahed, haven't we, Matt, for ages on what to do. Do we put the price up? Do we do a joining fee? Do we stagger the content? Should we do this and we do that? And we've just literally every single one of those options had an issue in some way or another. But ultimately we knew, out of respect for the people that have been members for the last year, we couldn't keep charging the same price because, someone could just come in, absorb all the content and pay the same as someone that was paying, that had joined 6 months ago. Now, my argument will always be they've had 6 months to action it. So, that's where the value comes in terms of that. But at the same time, literally the thought of someone being able to jump in for all that for 99 quid, and it's worth thousands and thousands of pounds, that information. So we have to put a joining fee on it. It's as simple as that. I didn't mean to announce that then. It just happened. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
For those who are already in the Hive, it won't make a difference. But for those,
of course, if you're already in the Hive, it really doesn't make a difference. You guys, we have such a high retention rate anyway, so I don't need to tell you guys that. You'll be staying anyway as well. So because I'm selling the Hive too well. But do you know what the funny thing is? It's like the data, the testimony, it doesn't lie. This stuff works. It's proven. It's that's what we do.
It's current as well. I think that one of the biggest things that people don't appreciate is the currentness of the data, because the model, there's a reason we've done the Hive in the way we've done it, because things change. And like with the generic listings, if you'd have bought a course 3 years ago, that course is now worthless because the information's not up to date. But by being in the Hive, if something changes, we'll say, look, guys, this has changed. This is the new process. A good example is eBay. We're discussing eBay at the moment. People who bought, who watched my course years ago, there's changes to that. The things I said then, which were relevant then, I'm now saying, well, this is now the better way to do it. And this is how you stay ahead of the competition, because you do what 2023 is demanding, not what 2021's demanding.
And also some of the things that we say, even some information, there's some information in the Hive, which I've obviously warned everyone about, to do with generic listings, which was okay when we launched. Now it's turned so much that it could absolutely put you in a position. It could put your account in trouble, essentially, because it was okay. Now it's not. It's as simple as that. So that's why we keep up to date with everything.
You should sell on TikTok Shop your Made for the Shopping channel.
Do you know what? I don't think I've been ever told something so much in my life, so much so that I've actually started looking into it, because there's a few things that we sell within our business that would sell really, really well on TikTok. And so it's one of those platforms I've ignored for long enough. and it's not going anywhere, and it's just getting bigger, and the opportunity is getting bigger. So personally, we will be exploring TikTok next year, and obviously any type of success that we have with that will be filtered into the Hive. But what I would like to do, because I don't like to teach anything I don't do myself, we need to bring someone in with TikTok selling experience. I mean, I'm not one of these people that would do a course, sell £5 worth of stuff, and then put it into the Hive and say, wow, now we've got a TikTok. I want to bring someone in that's like a TikTok guru, like a proven TikTok guru. So would absolutely, that's one of the big goals next year. So you invest in us, we invest in you. It's as simple as that. The Hive has got a meetup scheduled for January as well, which is, one of the perks of being a Hive member. One day is one of the perks of being a Hive member, and the next day is like a very highly subsidized, we have to ask for a little bit of contribution, but it's highly subsidized, in order to get all of the Hive members that want to attend, to get their year started off right. It's like a planning session that we're going to be doing in person, second week of January. So all of those type of benefits massively included. Anyway, I'm not selling it, I promise. Well, I am. Join. This is the opportunity to be able to do it. Jonathan says, TikTok shop, definitely good. Sold my first item last week. No ads, no videos, only organic. Fantastic. Really, really great. It's one of those things I've tried to ignore TikTok, thinking that it'll probably go away, but it absolutely won't. So we need to set up and we need to do it. And I kind of missed the whole Instagram thing because I thought that wasn't really going to go anywhere. Not that it wasn't going anywhere, Instagram just didn't really suit me. Whereas, TikTok, I think when they extended the length of the videos, that's when I thought, ooh, bit of me. I've always wanted to be a QVC seller for sure. Right. Okay. I'm gonna sell Prime on TikTok. Definitely packing the things, doing this, doing that. I think it would be cool. I'd love it.
The next Wakey Wines, yeah.
Exactly. Wakey Wines for sure. So why Manchester for the meeting? I knew we were going to get this.
Because no matter where you pick, someone's disappointed. But we did a poll in the group, and Manchester was joint top with London, and we can host a better event. We can host a better event in Manchester for half the cost. So we can put more. We can either reduce the costs for the members. I think Manchester generally is very good transport links for most people, and also Manchester is good for people from north of Manchester, because people from the south don't realize, but there is a whole country above Manchester. So if you're coming down from Scotland, then it's quite a good location for that. So yeah, that's why we chose Manchester.
Yeah, and this is the first event of the year as well. So we've guaranteed that we're going to do 2 a year. One's going to accommodate the north, and one's going to accommodate us southerners down here. So, it's like I said, we're always going to try and accommodate as many people as possible, but there is always going to be someone that's going to be disappointed, unfortunately. So we do apologize for that, but we have to pick somewhere. We can't be all things to all people at all times, unfortunately. So I promise that there will be another meetup that will be accommodated towards the south of the England, maybe someone like Southampton, or I think we've decided Southampton would be a good spot for anyone that doesn't want to go north of the wall, i.e. the Watford Gap. So anything will be good for that. So apologies, but we can't please everyone, unfortunately. Ahmed's joined us. Hello, Ahmed. Hope you're well. Hope you're thinking about coming to the Hive meetup. It's the second week of January, by the way. So, but we still got to confirm dates. I love it. Meeting in Leicester. I heard the meetings in Leicester are better. No, definitely in Bournemouth. Definitely in Bournemouth is the best place for the meets. But even I lost out on this one. Normally, I'm like a spoilt brat. Normally, I stamp my feet and I get my way. But even I agreed. I was the one that pushed Manchester a little bit because we're not there, and I found it. If I can get there really easily from Bournemouth, anyone else can.
Yeah.
You might have to fall asleep.
And you were impressed, weren't you? You were impressed.
Really impressed. Really impressed. I love London for visiting. I'm an ex-Londoner anyway, but I really was I was quite taken with Manchester, how I liked the vibe of it. I liked the cosmopolitan vibe. It was a kind of mix between, it wasn't too like London's too Londony for me. But so, and where I live sometimes a bit too un-Londony. So it was definitely a nice mix of the two. But yeah, very much liked it. Loved the people, loved everything. So Chris says won't be able to do it with my employer a dick.
I mean, we could. We're almost. We just haven't confirmed, but it will be the 14th and 15th of January. So if that helps, Chris, if you can get it, you can get it.
Yeah, the networking day is a Sunday.
Network's a Sunday. The networking event's a Sunday. So hopefully that should be good. So this is 99%. We have to push the button on this, but it will be Sunday afternoon networking event, and then Monday is going to be private one-to-one sort of coaching day, planning day, face-to-face training at the same venue on the Monday. So that's going to be the plan, but we'll discuss further in the Hive for Hive members tonight.
Unfortunately, Ahmed, for once, I am going to be Matt Cromie less. He is not going to be coming, unfortunately, because it's kids and everything like that. And he's way more popular. Do you know what? I should just send him, actually. He's way more popular than me. Everyone loves Matt more than me. He steals all of my friends. He steals everyone because everyone just loves him way more than me. So I'll just send him instead, I think. I'll stay at home with the kids. Yeah, Southampton definitely would be great. So yeah, that's the sort of area, Southampton, Reading, that we'll look at in the future. Right.
Yeah, we don't want to turn this into a Hive meetup chat, do we?
I know, exactly.
We'll discuss this tonight on the Hive Live for everybody.
Yeah, and we'll post it obviously, because anyone that does join before then will be able to take advantage of that meetup anyway as well. So let's jump in. I'm actually going to share my screen, if that's okay. Weren't expecting that. Anyone?
I was not expecting that.
No, entire screen. Okay, let me jump in. Here we go. I'm going to stay like this. You guys, I'm going to talk through it so you won't be able to you don't need to read it that much. Nobody judge my inbox, please.
I just gasped in horror.
Oh my God, don't judge my inbox. So what I did was I just copied this over from the news section on Amazon. So as I said, this is an update to the US referral and fulfillment by Amazon fees, but there's a few little doozies that Amazon have thrown in there as well. But I wanted to be able to talk through it in a little bit more detail. So we've got a load of blurb here, and if you've seen the screenshot, you would have seen this. It's just Amazon talking about the successes that they've had as of the end of July. More than 1.8 billion products or units were delivered either same or next day, which is nearly 4 times the delivered at the speeds that they were delivering in 2019. And they essentially go on to say that this is one of the biggest considerations that they want to continue with moving forward. And as a result of that, that's why some of these fees have come into place. So when you're dealing with a country like America, which is so fast geographically, geographical considerations really do have a massive impact on not only shipping, but also whether or not you get the buy box in the US. There is a lot more weight on those geographical locations with selling in the US than there is in the UK. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean that some of these things that we're going to talk about are not going to come into effect in the UK. But like I said, this is a compounding effect of Amazon very much looking at its bottom line and also seeing what the best service they can offer for the Amazon customer, whilst at the same time trying to stay ahead in what, I don't know if you agree, Matt, but in the first time I can really see in TikTok shops in particular, what could be a true competitor coming onto the market to take some of their customer base.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly for the Amazon, a lot of the kind of cheap private label products, I think Temu and TikTok Shop are going to be a genuine rival to Amazon. I wouldn't say premium brands. I don't think they're going to be a rival to that. but certainly on the cheaper end, the everyday items, I think quite possibly.
Yeah. So for us, it's definitely something that it's a little bit, they're not panicking, but they're planning. They're planning for knowing that these are serious competitors. I think they did really, really well in fighting off probably Walmart and keeping them at bay a little bit. Whilst it's still growing, it didn't turn out to be the competitor that many hoped it would. But Temu, TikTok shops, definitely, they are going to ruffle a few Amazon feathers. And believe you me, Amazon, we haven't really seen the impact of what Amazon is prepared to do to keep hold of its customer base. So, there's going to be things that are be coming into the future. So they're basically saying these investments result in a higher customer satisfaction and therefore more sales for you, which, you can't knock them for that. That's absolutely right. That's the reason why Amazon is as successful as it is, because it has fantastic customer service. Whatever way you want to look at it, we forget that when we become sellers. But nothing can be rivaled in that respect. So what it's saying, as we look to 2024, we're going to implement a new set of fee changes that will continue to provide you with great value, that also allow us to partner together and offer customers amazing services whilst reducing our collective costs to do so. So we were talking about that. They are very much looking at their bottom line and saving in places that they can, whilst also maintaining or even increasing Amazon customer service. Believe you me, in the US, they want to get everyone on same day, either same day or next day delivery. They want to get rid of that 2-day delivery if they can. So after all these changes, we expect the sellers will see an average increase of 15 cents in fees per unit sold. So what they've done is they've added up all the different fee costs. They've minused off the fee reductions, and they think that the average person is going to see their fees increase per product by around 15 cents, which again, if you look at it from a positive, I've got my positive pants on today. If we look at it from that point of view, that's not too bad, right?
No.
Not if you're making 20 cents per item, but if you're in a really high margin, it's going to impact you a lot more. If you are a dollar a person profit, you're going to lose 15%. But at the same time, there will be opportunity for you guys to increase your prices anyway as well. So, and again, lots of kind of justification, just saying that the Amazon fulfillment fees will continue to remain an average of 70% less than all of the other comparable 2-day shipping methods, which are offered by major third-party logistic providers, which again, true story, right?
Yeah.
So this is where it all comes together. So this is where they are talking about the impact on these fees. So as we'd already said, and as Matt was talking about earlier, that kind of last mile delivery, very much more so the case for the US. And what Matt was talking about with inventory placement is going to be a very key part of selling on Amazon moving forward. It's almost like we knew and built a software around it, ready to go for 2024. We shall see. But we focus on how we can partner together to inbound to place inventory across our network. So this is what this is about. So in the US, you've been able to do it for some time. You can actually pay a privilege to have all of your inventory going directly to one fulfillment center. So you've already been able to do that in the US for some time. Now, when it first came out, people were like, oh God, why should I have to do that? It used to be free. Well, it's not free anymore. And now it takes so much longer with fulfillment center transfers and things like that. So it's no longer a free service. And not only is it no longer a free service, it's also, you could be massively delayed if you don't use it. So what it is saying, they will now introduce an inbound placement service fee for any standard and large bulky size products to reflect the cost of distributing inventory to fulfillment centers close to customers. So, in a nutshell, what this is saying is if I send 100 units, if I'm selling in the US and I'm based in Texas and I send 100 units in to my local fulfillment center that gets distributed between Kansas, Arkansas, other kind of southern states, what Amazon want me to be able to do is to be able to, then what will happen is it will get received and then they will allocate it around the country. Okay. Fulfillment center transfers, because obviously it's cheaper for them to do that than it is for us to, for them to put it on a truck and individually deliver it from Arkansas to California, right? So that's going to be super expensive. So that's what they're talking about. Those are the type of costs that they want to reduce. So what they were saying is what you'll be able to do is if you pay this inbound placement service fee, then what they were going to do is they will give you an option to pay reduced fees or even no fee when you send a shipment to a single location or multiple locations. And these will be like strategic locations based all around the country. Now, these fees are set to come in 2024, March, and they will also, this is why they're incentivizing it, they want you to do this. So they will also charge these fees 45 days after your products are received as well. So you get more time to pay this fee for your goods to be sold. So they go on to detail what, they think it will cost. They will average around 27p per unit. What I do like about this is they're doing it per unit. They're not doing it as like X amount per box. So it's going to be quite expensive. So, if you're selling 100 units, 27 cents per unit, that's what, 27 pounds? Is that right?
27 cents.
$27. So 27 cents. And if you're sending 100 units, that's going to be an extra $27.
Yeah.
It's going to cost to send in. So, they're very clever in the way that they're wording it. But what they're saying is that they could potentially reduce your fulfillment fee rates by 20 cents. So actually, the difference that you'd only be paying would be something like 7 cents, and you would have 45 days extra to pay it, which I don't think's that bad a deal. And you get an inventory placement service, which means you don't have any, or you have less potential transfers, which means that your stock will go into stock quicker to its final destination. And it does go on to say, I can't remember where it says it, it does go on to say that actually by utilizing this inbound placement service and maintaining sufficient inventory levels, it does enable them to place inventory closer to customers, which means they will reward you more as a seller and give you a much higher percentage of the buy box as well. So they're incentivizing people as much as possible to utilize these placement services, which overall reduce their bottom line because they can't change anything. So I'm going to play devil's advocate. They can't change the fees that they're going to be paying because that's their business model. So what they're trying to do is incentivize people to utilize this that will reduce their bottom line overall. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So it's not a cash grab that people think it is. It's strategic from their point of view. Now, we don't know the impact that it's going to have because obviously if all of a sudden everyone start using it, yes, it's going to be a bit of a cash grab. And there's not going to be a huge incentive to buy box because if everyone's using it, you're not going to see much more of an incentive. So, but that's going to take some time. It's, it's always going to be a little bit of a saturation of the service. That's going to take time for that to come into in place. And America's a big ass place as well, to be perfectly honest. So even if saturation does occur in that marketplace, things tend to recover a lot quicker, essentially. So, that's what I always like about selling in the US in particular anyway, as well.
Yeah.
So anything else to add there, Matt, from your point of view?
Yeah, the only observation I've had is obviously that it's very geographical, and I can see this. I can see this in America. Whether this will come over to the UK, I don't know. because the geographical restrictions are. I mean, if you think about the UK, you can drive point to point in a day. You can drive from the furthest point to the furthest point in a day, whereas America, you're looking at like a week. So I don't know if this is going to come into the UK. It will be interesting to see. I think if it works very well for Amazon, and has the desired effect, I think they'll bring it in because obviously we don't have the distance problem, but we do have a way more congestion problem. So obviously certain areas are more heavily congested, and if they can process stock more quickly by spreading it out, to different areas, that might impact this coming to the UK.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we'll see this for the reasons it's been introduced in the US geographically, but I think we will see the option to pay to play. So Amazon will. It's a bit like at this moment in time, you can pay to disperse your funds quicker. That's why they've removed the 24-hour disbursement from age accounts, and they've made it a paid option.
Boo.
Because I know. Sorry, I know that's still.
It's not gone yet, but I believe it's.
I know, but it's going.
It's going.
So that's what we're seeing here: is you're having things removed, and you're being replaced. So unfortunately, these type of things, if they do come into the UK, they are going to benefit bigger sellers. Definitely bigger sellers, bigger margins, and it's not going to be something that is going to be immensely helpful for new sellers to start with. It's going to maybe going to have to be something that people are going to suck up, but this is a lot of ifs, buts, maybes, whys, so I wouldn't get too freaked out about this. We're talking because many of our people that watch this, our audience, do sell in the US. So from that point of view, and just discussion as to whether or not it will come over. So I don't think these extra fees will come over as mandatory for the reasons we've discussed, but I do think a pay to play option will come in, that you will be able to pay an extra amount. So if you're doing something like unique bundles where margins are so much higher than standard arbitrage, then that might be a consideration for you because your stock will land quicker. You will get better option to manage your inventory, which make no doubt about it. This is the biggest priority for Amazon now for 2024. People who do not manage their inventory, as per what Amazon wants, forget about it. It's not going to be something you can get away with anymore. You will either get punished by not getting the buy box, getting charged, or just general restrictions on your account, essentially. So inventory management has become like the new orange or the new black. For sure. This moves us on to the new low inventory fee, which I think most people focused on. Okay. Now this is what I do think will come to the UK. So if this works and Amazon increase their bottom line and increase their overall effectiveness of their fulfillment centers, whilst also maintaining customer experience, then I see no reason whatsoever. This has nothing to do with geographical locations or anything like that. This is to do, again, with pure inventory management and overstocking in fulfillment centers, which we all know is a big problem for Amazon. So I think this is something we will see coming to the UK at some point. So starting from the 1st of April, there will be a low inventory level fee. Now, when you go into this, I can share the links in the group so you can go in and read it yourself. So there's all different fees, and it's all done on, I think it's cubic foot in this place, and there's two fees here. So there's an overstockage fee, but then there's also a fee that is going to be charged per unit after sale if it is considered to be something that falls within the realm of low inventory. So let's talk about how this is going to impact Amazon sellers and how it's going to impact arbitrage sellers. For once, I think this is going to be something that is going to hurt arbitrage sellers. Okay. From a US point of view, definitely, because it's happening in the US. From a UK point of view, maybe, because we don't know if this is going to come over in a US. So don't panic. It's not in the US yet. Sorry, in the UK yet. So you don't really have to do anything. But how this is going to impact arbitrage sellers the most is what we don't know, I think, still at this stage is whether or not this is going to be charged at a SKU level or a ASIN level. So what we mean by that, is it going to consider Amazon, you, the seller, to have too lower inventory, or is it going to consider the listing, the ASIN overall, as holding low inventory? So Matt, I'll let you jump in here, because I think you lean one way on this more than the other.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult. Honestly, we don't know. The truth is, we don't know which way it's going to go. If it's going to be to an individual seller level, or whether it's going to be to, like you say, the listing level. I'm leaning towards it's going to be the individual seller. One thing as well, one thing that isn't clear, and I haven't been able to clarify, is if your low stock rate is based on the percentage of the amount of stock you've shipped. Because I don't know, it's going to be very unfair. Well, maybe this is just the way it is, particularly for those who do retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. Let's say a SKU sells 100 pieces a month. You source 30. So you're going to fall into low stock because you're not carrying enough stock, but you've sent all your stock in because you've only sent 30. Is Amazon going to penalize you based on the percentages of stock you've sent in? I.e., you've not sent in 30 days worth of stock, therefore you're going to be affected by this fee, but you could never send 30 days worth of stock because you can't get it, can't physically get it. Or are they going to go, well, as a percentage of stock, you're under the amount of days, you've not overstocked and you've gone under stock, you're just at the level. I think it's going to be, truthfully, I think this fees, you're going to have to add it onto every single unit you sell as an arbitrager, because you're never going to be able to work this. I don't think, truthfully. Maybe on a few SKUs, if you've got some goods replenishable SKUs, this won't be a problem for. But retail
replenishable SKUs. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare, to be perfectly honest. And the truth is, like Matt says, we don't really know. Nor's asked, just a bit confused, is the inventory low-level service fee going to be an option? Not optional? No, it won't be. If you fall foul of it, then you're going to get charged. I see two big issues here. One, I'm glad I don't have to do this, by the way. But I don't know how the, Bible Pro, SAS, the calculator, I don't know how I'm going to work it out, because this is going to be charged post-sale.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it's going to be a percentage. We don't know. Hopefully it'll just be a percentage, and it'll just be something you can add, and a marker. But then how do you know if it's low inventory until you do it? It's just going to be a bit of a nightmare for estimating fees. So I almost think, unless Amazon come out and give this information, which they could do, I almost think that there's got to be in the calculators, then maybe it's going to have to be an X amount of percentage for like a, what do they call it? Like a rainy day.
Rainy day allocation, yeah.
Yeah, an allocation or something like that.
Come to my mind as well is how they're going to calculate this. Because, they say, like a good example, so you've got a SKU, December sells 1,000 pieces. I'd say it's Christmas trees. November and December are going to be selling thousands of pieces a month. January, that SKU is going to fall off a cliff. Now, it doesn't mean that it won't sell, but a month's worth of stock might be 50 pieces rather than 1,000 pieces. Is Amazon going to go, well, you've not sent a month's worth of stock in because last month it sold 1,000 pieces? There's a lot. I personally think there's going to be a lot of blowback on this, because I think they've not quite thought it through. And I don't think they've thought it through for all the sellers. If you are Amazon and you buy a product from a supplier and you just restock it every month in, month out, or you've got your own private label product, this is not a problem. You just manage. You just need to make sure you're on it for your levels, and you're not over shipping or under shipping. But for the majority of sellers who do any kind of arbitrage or wholesale, this is going to be a nightmare to manage. And I think the basic thing is, Amazon's increasing its fee by low inventory amount, and you're just going to have to put that into your margins and just go, this is part of the fulfillment fee. and that's how we're going to work it in our business. Fulfillment fees have gone up by X amount as a percentage.
Yeah, I almost think it says, if you go back up to the top and it says all of these kind of changes, we're anticipating that it's going to be an average increase of about 15 cents overall. So it'll probably have to be an arbitrary amount that kind of goes in on each product that you sell. But again, lots of ifs and buts. We don't 100% know what's going to happen here. I've heard a few people say, like Joe saying there, I hope it's not worked out on, the what they tell you, because that information is incredibly skewed. Again, I know it always feels like I'm defending Amazon a bit, but I think I look at it in a slightly different way. Those restock suggestions that they make, they look quite simply, ridiculous, but obviously they're based on the ASIN. They're not based on an individual seller. So Amazon can't be all things to all people. Whilst it does acknowledge that resellers and sharing of listings is perfectly acceptable as an Amazon seller, it doesn't cater for it in any of their algorithm. Well, apart from buy box, obviously, but it doesn't cater for it in a lot of their data. So, a lot of this stuff, we think, oh, okay, well, I'm fully stocked, but the ASIN might not. So if they do it at an ASIN level, is everyone going to get it? Even the people that hold the highest levels of stock? I'm inclined to agree with you, Matt. I think it's going to be more at a seller level, but how are they going to work out that metric? I think the only saving grace, which this is why I wanted to run through this, because it's very easy to, I posted this shared from Thomas Parkinson's page. That's where I first saw it, because Thomas posted it first. And I think it's very easy just to pick out what people are saying, low inventory fee. But Amazon gives us some clues that if you read it and you digest it a little bit more, you can see the fee applies if you carry consistently low levels of inventory relative to unit sales. So the key word here is consistently. So from an arbitrage point of view, if it's not a replan and you only sell it the once and you sell 10 units of it, do you not get charged it?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't
maybe
know.
if you get in and out on a skew, then it doesn't affect you. Maybe that's how they will implement it.
But how do they measure that? We don't know. So
yeah.
So
And again, there's so many variables, because like, what if Amazon runs a promo on a product? That will skew all the data. If Amazon price matches a competitor because they price match and they sell thousands more pieces than is normal because they're price matching a competitor on a promotion, that skews the whole skew in terms of the sales levels. And what you purchased may well be the perfect amount of stock, but somebody's skewed the data, which you have no control over. That's the unfair part for me, is that, like, you may well sell it. You can do all your calculations perfectly, and an external factor can come in which you've got no control over, including Amazon themselves, and just go, all your data is wrong. You've understocked now because we've come in, we've sold it 50% of the price on promotion. We've sold 3 times the units, and now you've not got enough stock. So I don't know how they're going to manage this. Again, this is a US thing. It'd be interesting to see. I think one of the things with Amazon is I've seen a lot of things come and go. Yeah. And I truthfully think that this is going to be not the inventory placement, but the low inventory fee is going to be something that will either come and go or will be tweaked, because it's too unfair on sellers how to administer it. I don't know. I don't know how they will do it.
I think
that's my prediction for this.
A very positive way to look at it.
I think this will be gone by July next year, or it'll be tweaked.
They get rid of stuff for sure. I think the most unfair part is the fact, going back, if you look at the top one, that someone will pay for inventory placement, get a higher percentage of the buy box, get more sales, and then someone could get penalized for having low inventory.
Yeah.
So it's like a double whammy. You lose the buy box.
Potentially, again, this might have another thing. Do you know why I think this is going to get removed? Because it will affect customers. Because sellers particularly a very low
Mm.
profit product, as in they've got very not margin necessarily, but
Won't
if
be
you're selling
stopped.
something for $5, let's say you've got 20 cents, this fee could be your entire profit. Will sellers artificially increase the price so they don't get the low inventory fee? That's bad for Amazon customers, and that's Amazon's big red flag. I think that if they see sellers not necessarily doing anything wrong because they're trying to not get the low inventory, they're trying to reduce the sell-through rate to not pay a low inventory fee. Therefore, the price goes up. That's bad for Amazon's customers. So that's the reason I think this will go.
Yeah,
That's my
absolutely.
big bold statement of the day.
Big bold statement. We love big bold statements. My big bold statement is still yet to come true. Spoiler alert. I think every year for about the last 7 years, I've been saying, I think they'll increase the professional seller fee. I think that, and it still takes
Never
the same.
changes.
And it never changed. I've become one of those people, that constantly predict doom and gloom. Batten down the hatches, going to be a tough year next year. Well, if you say it every year, one year you're going to be right. And that's how I feel about saying the professional seller fee. I say it every year and one year I'll be right. But yeah, it hasn't come to fruition yet.
Yeah.
So that's a bit more about the low inventory fee, which I know was freaking people out a little bit. We don't know. And hours of talking and we still don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what comes into effect and see how people react to it. There's also, so moving on from that one, as we find out more, like I said, the beauty of what we do now is there's so many sellers that are selling in the US that are involved in our in our communities and part of our audience that we used to have to wait for stuff to be implemented in the UK because very few people actually sold in the US, but now we'll have fair warning of what's going to happen, and then if it does come over here, it won't be as big a shock. So the poor old US guys take a hit for everyone, unfortunately. Again, there's some details. I'm not going to go into this about non-peak monthly storage fees, which, oh my goodness, again, we've all been hit so hard on that this year. It was one of the decisions we took when our account was restricted, why we had a bit of a fire sale and got rid of, a big amount of our stock, because we were being charged hundreds of dollars. I've seen people's storage fees run into the thousands of dollars this month. So they're going to be reducing that, but increasing in other areas again. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see when it comes through.
We paid about £2,000 in storage fees this month.
Yeah, normally the fees go up by a third, but anyone's fees I know have not gone up by a third. It's almost been like 6x.
Ours was double. Ours was double
Yeah.
what we would pay normally.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it is not what they've said on the tin. Also, do you know apparel? I'm not going to go into that because I think so many few people sell it, if that's an oxymoron, you know what I mean. But have a read of that if you need to, if you're into clothes.
I don't want to get into it, but I do think that's a very underserved market, to be fair. So
It
if you're
is.
looking for something to sell, apparel, and Amazon's really pushing apparel because they know that they're very weak on it compared to obviously a lot of their competitors. So
I think for me, whilst I try and live not in the of the mindset of I wouldn't sell anything that I'm not interested in. For me, I have to see a compelling reason to buy from the Amazon platform. And I know millions of people do buy clothing and apparel from the Amazon platform. I think because I wouldn't, or I don't, I really struggle to kind of get into that market. But I completely agree. Great niche area if you're able to do it. But you've got to have a resolve of iron, unfortunately, because there's a very high return rate. So there's a few things that Amazon do very much give you specialist treatment for in the apparel area, because obviously they know that the return rate is so high. So yeah, if you can stomach it, great. But for me, I just don't connect the dots on them, unfortunately.
Yeah. If you are going to apparel, top tip from me, consider accessories and shoes rather than actual clothing items, because you have way less returns on hats, gloves, scarves, shoes than you do on clothing itself, because people have style and fit choices, whereas generally speaking, pair of shoes will fit. If you're a size 9, they'll fit a size 9. So you
Absolutely.
won't get returns, don't get me wrong, and there'll be very high return rates, but you get less with those specific categories than you do with garments, shall we say.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, blah, 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 Amazon Vine, they're introducing lower costs for that. If you create your own listings, more particularly for private label, that's more relevant to you. It's quite a good program, but yeah, well, might have a video or do a video on Vine at some point. It's okay. USA FBA new selection program. So they're going to expand the benefits as part of that. Right. This is quiz time. Can anybody guess? And Matt has already spoiler alerted at this, I think, without knowing. Can anybody guess why they, well, I'll tell you what the FBA new selection program is for anyone that doesn't know, but can anybody guess why they're going to expand the benefits of the FBA new selection program based on everything that we've discussed so far? So I'll let you guys think about the answers on that. So why are they going to increase the benefits for the FBA new selection program? Let me tell you what the FBA new selection program is for those who don't already know. It is essentially giving benefits, credits, reduction in fees, percentage wise, but also monetary amounts for new listings created on Amazon. So bringing new blood to the Amazon catalog. So why would you think Amazon is going to want to incentivize new listings being created on Amazon in this moment in time?
I won't answer. I'll let people answer.
Just I'll give it a few minutes. I'll give it a few minutes. I can't see anyone answering at the moment. Oh, I thought that was an answer card. We can't, if this was the Hive, I'd hang around and see if anyone got it in. It's essentially what Matt said earlier. What's going to happen with this? Definitely, the new low inventory fee is you're going to see a lot less people wanting to sell on shared listings, wanting their own listings. And creating their own listings, and people not facilitating and sending in the inventory on shared listings because it's just not going to be profitable to do so. So they're incentivizing people to create their own listings, I think, because they anticipate this is going to sell shared listing. This is going to hit shared listing sellers harder. So therefore it wants them to not necessarily take that and just create their own listing, which you can't do, but get a bit more creative in bringing other products to the Amazon catalog. That's why I think they're going to be doing it. Kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. They just, if there's going to be a reducer, they just don't want their sellers going elsewhere. It's as simple as that. Increased competition, like I said, from TikTok Shop, from Temu, from places like that. They want to ensure that the Amazon catalog stays as rich as possible. If somebody types in something on Amazon, that market is being facilitated, and therefore you are being rewarded for it. Again, this is why we have a very, very specific selling strategy that we cover in the Hive that deals with creating new listings and the continuation or the continuity and consistency of creating new listings, why that is so important in Amazon 2024 and beyond. Just doing what we teach in the Hive is going to get you ahead of the competition
for sure
above anyone else anyway. So without even taking that stuff into account, there's quite a lot of psychology that goes into and having a really strong and deep understanding of the Amazon platform, through that experience of selling on it for years and working out as a collective and cohesive unit what Amazon wants, because they don't tell us. We have to guess, and then we have to test, and then we have to put the procedures in place, and then we have to let everyone know.
That's it. That's all what we do. And the thing is, as a business, the bigger you grow, the more time you've got to test these things. So, and the more money you've got to test these things. That's one of the advantages of us as bigger business owners is that I can put resources into testing these things and see what works and what doesn't, essentially, and save you guys the time and effort of doing it.
So when someone asks me a question, can I show you how to create a bundle listing and do this and do that? I'm not being mean when I say join the Hive. It's because, years has gone into all of this, years of effort, testing, cohesive and collaborative working with other Amazon sellers and members of the Hive community and former ESA community. So I'm just not being mean when I say no, I can't give you that information. It's in the Hive, please join. People think I'm doing a cash grab. I'm absolutely not. I just can't give that information away for free because it's also not my information. Essentially, it's been, in some cases, it's been born out of me working with other sellers, and it's disrespectful to them. So that's why me not being awkward, I promise. Then there's a few more things to go on, and they talk about returns processing fees, disposal, age inventory prep, inbound defect fees. This is going to be interesting. So this is has anyone noticed how much more, especially in the US, you're getting more shipment problems and shipment investigations and all of this type of thing? Unfortunately, I think one area that it's been happening and it's been deteriorating for years anyway, but I almost think the days of Amazon reimbursement for a lot of stuff are pretty much numbered. I mean, if I had to put a percentage on it now, it's you probably get 20% back or maybe 30% or something like that. Unfortunately, reimbursements are going to get smaller and they're going to get harder to get from Amazon. You will be able to get them, but it is really a case of making sure you're maximizing all of the strategies for you to be able to get them. So that is the thing that I think is going to bite a lot of people on the bum. Lost inventory. Yeah. All of that rubbish, unfortunately. So I got nothing good to say about that. Sorry.
And as well, I think the problem is now is whereas the inventory defects, a lot of them are Amazon's mistake, and I'm sure most of you experienced this.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was, I accept this, move on with your life. Now you're going to have to fight to get the fee reimbursed because they get them to admit that they were wrong. That's the real kicker here.
Yeah. But, one of the things that we're going to be, again, focusing on in the Hive is ensuring that you have all of this information at your fingertips, that you're able to just put it as part of, the process of being able to run your business and ensuring that no stone is left unturned, and you're maximizing as much as you can get back as possible. But again, if you're a big reseller, arbitrage seller, something like that, a lot of this stuff is harder to manage than, having 30 of your own bundle listings where it's a lot easier to track. But I mean, I'm not advocating one selling method over another, because I think there's still, massive gains to be had in standard reselling. I just think variety is the spice of life. So have a bit of everything for a happy, well, I was going to say happy wife, happy life, happy Amazon, happy life.
Happy Amazon,
happy Jeff, happy life. That's got to be the new acronym, I think, for sure. So a few other little things in there, taking into account oversized. I'm sure there will be something to do with small and light and all the faff and the removal. And, that's something that kind of just flip flops. I think big and bulky, small and light, extra large, oversized. I think that's quite a fluid thing for Amazon, depending on what they're seeing on their bottom line. So by those sort of things, I never like to go into them in too much detail because they always seem to be changing. So that's something that you've just got. Again, variety is the spice of life. If you were someone that was just a small and light seller, you were massively penalized over, and probably lost a big part of your business over the last couple of months. So again, just a bit of everything is going to be the way moving forward. That's the way that I see it, but done strategically. And that's what our profit sting is going to be about when that is released early part of next year. So again, returns processing fee, that's to do with apparel. Most changes are coming into effect from March, so there's nothing really before the 1st of March. I think the low inventory one comes in on April Fool's Day, which the irony of that is mind-blowing. And
Maybe
I
they'll get
think,
it from the big email out and say, "Hey, joke's on you."
only joking, April Fools. No, I don't think they will, unfortunately. So all of the fees and changes are available. You should be able to, if you've not got the US seller enabled on your account, you won't be able to go into these individually, but I'll put a link up so you can go to it from your app. You should be able to access it from your Amazon account, even if you're not selling in the US. But I just love, obviously, this last part, but we appreciate you taking the time to understand these news fees, how they can continue to provide you with great value, and how they help us to continue to partner together to offer amazing customer service whilst reducing our collective costs to do so. We wish you a happy and, a healthy and a prosperous holiday season. We thank you for your continued partnership. So there we go. We're Amazon partners, don't you know? Yeah,
Yeah, we're partners, just not equal partners.
exactly. It brings in the old George Orwell. Some are more equal than others, i.e., Amazon. For sure.
Very true.
So I'm gonna come back. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. Again, I appreciate it's not going to be something that is going to impact on everyone in all the different ways, especially this is US based at the moment. But top spoiler alert, I do think that low inventory fee is going to be coming in at some point next year. If I had to hazard a guess, I would say start of Q2, because that start of Q3 or maybe June, something like that. So or just before,
if it's not been scrapped.
Yeah, if it's not been scrapped by then. Cindy says, do you think they asked ChatGPT to write something to take the sting out? And that was like a poop, it was like a poop sandwich, right? Definitely like a poop sandwich. Do you know what, Sean? I completely agree. Sean said, I just had the UPS driver come to mind saying there's no way they're near as busy as last Q4. I agree. It is not as busy.
But don't forget, that's probably because Raw Mail was on strike last Q4, and the UPS was taking a lot of their volumes. So yeah, this is the logistics. This networks run a lot smoother this year because Raw Mail is fully operational, whereas last year obviously they were on strike, which meant DPD, DHL, UPS got all their volumes. I think they didn't think, and I didn't think that Raw Mail would actually go ahead with the strikes, and as many as they did. When I got the notification through last year, I was like, "Oh yeah, they'll can it. They're never gonna strike on Black Friday. Don't be daft, or Cyber Monday." Yeah, they did, and I don't think any of the courier networks prepared for it, and that's why it all just ground to a halt. And Amazon Logistics was the only people still running really at any sort of reasonable capacity.
Yeah, I agree. But I do also think the overall Amazon demand is down this year. And again, for many different reasons. It's not just one thing. You know, we're still, and you guys are probably, oh, shut up, stop banging on about it. We're still feeling the effects of the reduction because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
you know, that's still going on now. So you know, not massively as it was this time last Q4, where we saw a reduction based on the 2 bumper years before that. Yeah, cost of living, just everything. You know, so it's that time of year. But what I would say, whoever holds the last stock wins. So we've still got 11 beautiful days of Q4 left, because the dates work really well this year. So just make sure you're maximizing profit as much as possible between now and then. But what I will say is, this year, I don't know. Yeah, Matt called it a couple of months ago. It's more even this year. We're definitely not seeing
way more consistent.
Yeah. So what I will say is, you will always get that last 5 to 7 days of like craziness. But at the same time, for me, I would see it as this year, if it's seasonal based, don't try and hold out for price. Okay, it's more important you sell your stock. Okay, if you're expired products, again, it's more important you sell your stock. Okay, January is going to be busy. It's as simple as that. But if you're selling something like Lego that's tanked, don't worry about selling that sort of thing, because you've already paid your storage fees by now. So it's really not going to make that much difference. You're what I'm saying is take time to look at your inventory at this time of year, because you may have decreased some part on some of your sourcing. You may be taking your foot off the gas a little bit. Then, enjoying coming in the run up to the Christmas period. Now is time maybe just to spend a little bit extra time looking at your inventory. But
Absolutely.
yeah, big thing. Oh, Sean. Do you know what? Like I said, never say never. Never say never if something like, I just don't think they'd be able to get away with it now. I just don't think. I think there would be absolute uproar if that was the case. Yeah, I agree, Chris. I just don't think people will listen, and but another conversation another day. Maybe we'll talk about it next time, but I did want to talk about it today, but we're already 20 past the hour, and we have been chit-chatting away for an hour and 20 minutes. But one of the big things I want to talk about is the big introduction that Amazon is going to be using AI next year. They are bringing out something called Amazon Q, which is essentially going to be the AI version of seller support. God help us.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The thing about AI is if you can manage it, then you can manipulate it, and
Yeah,
you
but
can
it's
get favorable outcomes.
but it's going to be managed by the people that run seller support. So I don't.
Can it get any worse? Would be my answer, and I think the answer is probably no. So probably not.
And it's going to be so much more heavily bot focused though, as well. So yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the thing for me though, I wouldn't mind it if simple things got resolved more quickly. My listing is in stranded, or can you reallocate the stock, or this listing is suppressed, can you fix it? If it fixes those things more quickly, then that would be a bonus, I would say, because that's what I find is the biggest challenge. Is just very simple things are very difficult to achieve, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah. And we've got a few conflicting things here. We've got AI is going to take jobs. Absolutely, we always knew it would.
100%. Any low-level admin jobs are gone in a few years.
Yeah, and there's even things that we're going to implement into the Hive that unfortunately is probably, well, I mean, it's going to be great for Hive members and things like that, because they're going to be able to reduce staffing costs. But at the same time, it is going to cost people jobs. But what do you do? Do you move with the times, or yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, I'm for the first time in a long time, I don't know. I feel like last year I could call, the January last year I could call this year. And I think for most part, we've been right overall between us all, not just me and Matt, all of you guys that participate in all of this as well. And other communities and people that run those communities, big sellers like Thomas. And, I think overall we've been right. With what's going to happen. The only thing I know about next year is you guys are going to have to be in control of your own fate more. That's what I know. And I believe I know the best way to be able to do that. And guess what? It's in the Hive. No. It is. There has to be an element of you being in control of it. And believe me, it's not me selling that. Amazon's telling you that. That's what they're telling you in these updates. Inventory management is going to be key. It is going to be the bee's knees, and that genuinely wasn't a pun. It is going to be the top of everything for 2024. So, regardless if you join the Hive or do anything like that, get your inventory in order, because you're going to get punished if you don't. And if you do get your inventory in order, you're going to get rewarded.
For sure. And I just realized we missed a question at the start. I'm not sure if you saw this. It was right at the very beginning.
Oh,
so I wanted to,
I think it was Sylvia. I'm so sorry, Sylvia. Are you still here?
I'll tag her in it and tell her it's at the end, if anyway afterwards. Just so but yes, I think this is one for you.
Okay, so I got a question. If my business is in Germany, can I still get the GTINs from GS1 or would I have to buy the Yeah, get them from the UK. They are so much more expensive. So whenever we sell in the US, we use UK. We don't have different accounts for different countries. It is a universal account. So I still don't know why they do it. I think it's just to yeah,
Probably.
I don't know why they do it because you can utilize them in any country
They've
around the
got
world.
the worldwide barcodes, aren't they? That's
Oh,
the whole
Sylvia's
point.
still here. Great.
Oh, good.
Apologies.
Oh, good.
Sylvia.
Glad you... Sorry for the wait, but you got there in the end.
Yeah, just buy the UK ones. And also there is a discount code as well, 20% off, but I can't remember what it is. I will be able to the discount code. So if Sylvia, I think you are in the Hive. Discount code, search the Hive. There's a 20% off for that. On top of that as well, don't go for the 100, buy the 1,000. It's worth the extra 20 quid, and then there's a 20% off anyway as well. So but I will post that in the group. I'm not that tight and saying, "Oh, Hive members only," because it's not a Hive discount. It's a genuine. And one I missed actually. I'm a discount ninja, but someone else found that one. I didn't. So yeah, can't take credit for that one for sure. Right, guys. Has anyone seen the film about Skynet? Oh, I don't know if I want to. When you are a 90s child and you've grown up with Terminator, I try and avoid anything to do with Skynet.
The world's going very iRobot, isn't it? Will Smith.
Yes. Or yes. It is. I was just trying to think of the name of iRobot who wrote it. I think it was begins with I. EN20. There we go. Thanks, Cindy. Appreciate it. That's the 20% off. I think it was Cindy that found it. Actually, I can't remember. That author's name's going to annoy me.
AI. It wasn't A.I, was it?
No, the author's name. It's like I always get it confused with Brunel, and it's not Brunel because it's like it's Bard Brunel. Oh, what's he called? Oh well. Anyway, that's going to annoy me. I'm gonna look it up in a minute. The author of that. Wrote it God knows how many years ago, but it's becoming true now. So yeah.
For sure.
It's really going to annoy me. I'm glad I'm not in pub quiz tonight. There's a new one about Netflix about no internet, etc. Do you know what? I've heard that's the new conspiracy. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be a power or there's going to be an internet outage.
Okay.
The internet's going to go out for like 3 months, and that's how they're going to get us back under control. And that I don't know where I saw it, but yeah, that's a story. I know. Tesla's crashing. Oh my god! Right. Oh dear. Watch out, Matt.
No.
Oh dear. On that note, let's not go down that. Let's not go down that rabbit
hole here. Yeah, we'll leave it here because we could talk about AI. We'll talk about AI at the meetup. How about that? Let's have a big conversation about AI there.
Exactly. Yeah, get your tinfoil hat ready. For sure. Right, guys. Well, great to see you all. Thank you very much. I do think we've got another Beyond the Buy Box next week, but we just got to confirm the dates because obviously kids have broken up this week, which I wasn't expecting. So we're just changing all the dates around and everything like that. So I'm pretty sure there will be one next week.
But me and Johnny can do it. We'll definitely do it.
It may be. There will be. Okay, Matt's confirmed it. Matt's
we're doing one next week, and then after that, it'll be the 9th of January. Will be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We doing one on the 2nd or not? First day back?
No way. No way for sure.
Okay. 9th will be the return.
So there will be one next week. Then there will be one next week, and Christmas jumper alert for sure.
Yes, Christmas jumpers. The Christmas jumpers are mandatory for next week's Beyond the Buy Box.
Definitely. So, but we're just going to confirm what date and time because we've also got the Hive as well that we've got to do a session for next week as well. So we will see you next week. The boss has spoken. He who must be obeyed has spoken. So it's because you're in charge of everything. That's how I get through life. Mats are in charge of everything. The Mats. The map for sure. Right, have a great week, everyone. Enjoy this last week, and like I said, if things start to ease up a little bit, it's okay. Just go with the flow. Enjoy it. The rest of the world's going to be off in a few weeks. So, if things are starting to slow down for you, embrace it. If you're ever going to do it, this is the time to be able to do it. So we'll see you next week. Have a good week, guys.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.